Once again, a very good, pleasant afternoon to you over on Hingham Livestream 2. Greg Partita along with the rest of our crew here on Hingham Athletics. Proud to bring you a continuing coverage of Hingham Athletics. This is the second quarter of our live stream here with the Junior Varsity and Silver Lake. We saw the first quarter here over on Hingham Livestream Channel 1. We're over here now on Livestream Channel 2. Our score after one quarter is Hingham 4, Silver Lake 1. Recapping the goal scoring in the first quarter. 2 goals. The 1 goal came from the Lakers' Caitlin Dilly. Goals for Hingham. One from Annie Mercurio, 1 from Nora Wendell, 1 from Oliver Daly, and 1 from Chase Bowles. So we're underway here in the second. And a quick shot in the score. Harborwomen pushed their leads back up. Sorry for the bounce in the screen, folks. We're just trying to move the camera around, get our best angle on that. And while I was adjusting the camera, I actually missed the score on the last goal, so I apologize for it. More importantly, 9:43, and the score is 5-1 here, Hingham. Once again, running score, advanced timing after 10. Lakers with the ball in control as we move forward here. That's McGill trying to make some room. Dumps it back out to Candelari. Bridget will reset. Hands it to Caitlin Dilly, the goal scorer. Caitlin still has control. And ball picked off by Hingham, and here come the Harborwomen. And they'll reset. Ball down dirty, but the flag comes out. And we'll have a scoring attempt from the circle.
I'll call him right now.
This is Emma Falb with it.
Okay, I'll call him right now. Yep.
Falb looks to shoot. Ball deflected. Hingham maintains possession. Ball behind the back of the cage. Swimmerama move. Nice save by the goaltender. Loose and dirty. Hingham will pick it up. Once again, Emma Falb on control. And Hingham will reset. Off the restart. Nice save by the goaltender. We believe that's Kristen Areta, who's playing goal, which was different than the lineup we got to begin with, but Lakers have control off the save, and back they come. This is Caitlin Dilly over midfield. She'll set up the Laker offense. Loose ball on the ground. Turnover belongs to Hingham. Here comes Vaughn Smith with it. Grace with some speed. Grace with the shot. Coast to coast and a score. Gracie, coast to coast. Put that on your highlight film on SportsCenter, fans. That was pretty. So Vaughn Smith gets into the action. Time of the goal, 3 minutes and 32 seconds. And while it's a little premature, that run reminded me of someone named Abby Landry, who just completed her senior year at Duke. The standout Harborwomen basketball and girls lacrosse standout phenom. That kind of a run was something that Abby did normally off a draw and would make teams pay. Gracie did it one better as she basically took that 70 yards for the score. Impressive.
Yeah, she's working on it.
Yeah. Yep, believe it or not, Abby Landry just graduated from Duke.
I don't remember that in basketball. Well, I think
Yeah, Landry played basketball with the group that and there's a score off the side there, and I got busy yakking and I missed the goal there. Finishing a thought up about Abby Landry. Abby Landry played with the group that included Haley Blassetti rather. That team. They were the first team to get to the sectional finals.
is that the team that lost? Did they lose down in Durfee High in the finals to?
They lost to.
They lost by 1 point.
They lost to Oliver. They lost to Oliver Ames by 1 point, and Haley and Landry were only sophomores then.
Oh, they were sophomores.
They were sophomores then, and then they lost to Foxborough in their junior year, and Haley already had a bad knee, and then she blew the ACL out that summer in Kentucky.
So did she play in that season if they lost to Foxborough? Was she out for the whole year?
She was out that whole year. She was hobbling that next year as a junior. She was hobbling. They never made it past that Foxborough game. And the game her senior year, she sat out the entire senior year. And that's when Bennis and Riley Blassetti were juniors, but Abby Landry was a senior.
Was that Abby Landry a senior with Bennis? No.
Yeah, Abby Landry was a senior when Bennis and Riley Blassetti were sophomores.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you could imagine this, and let's get back to lacrosse, we'll talk more of Hingham basketball in a bit. It's 6-2, by the way. If you're just tuning into the live stream, we've got 4:30 to play here in the first half. See what I get going when I start talking Abby Landry. Shot and a nice save. And has Delaney Staub in net for Hingham today. Great looking save. And back come the Harborwomen. We'll focus on lacrosse now, and Mike Hennon and I can talk basketball a bit at halftime.
When the mic's off.
No, the mic will be on because this mic's on all the time. Off the shot and the save, Hingham resolves and keeps the ball going. And back with it is Nora Wendell. She's got a goal in the game here for the Harborwomen. Pass inside goes a little bit over the stick, over the cross. Of Mossholder. The lineup we were given today is not numerical in order, and one of the things Mike and I have talked about a lot, if you've ever worked a game as a scoring official, the worst thing you want is a non-numerical roster. And if you're doing public address or you're doing play-by-play, that's the worst thing you can have. This isn't even alphabetical what I have, so my apologies for the stare. But there's a score on a beautiful unassisted run. We'll pick up the number for you for Hingham in a second as the camera pans back. And we'll pick up that number for you in a second. 38, and that should be, and I should learn this by now, and that's Olivia Daly. That's her second goal of the contest. Comes at 7 minutes and 10 seconds. So 2 in the game for Daly. More importantly, the lead is 7 to 2 rather. And we move forward. And off we go. Lakers win it easily off the draw, but the pass is deflected. It's on the ground dirty. Scrum ensues, and back come Hingham. But they lose control, and back quickly is the Lakers. Nice defensive play by McGill to start the action. She'll send it to Cardarelli. Her pass goes out on the sideline. She was looking for Lovett. And let's see, they'll call it Lakers ball to start. We're down to 2:05 to play here in the second quarter. 7-2 is our score here on live stream 2. We're under 2 minutes in stop time here in the second. So on every whistle, the clock will stop. Between now and the whistle, Dilly looking to create, dumps it back out. To the unknown number 13. Dilly trying to move forward. There's a whistle. Looks like a violation. Will have a turnover. They'll go to Hingham. On the restart. The referee wasn't happy with it. And Kerman will start. Looking to move up. Over midfield, pass goes too long. That should be an easy grab for the Lakers. And it is violation with a little bit of a warding call there. And we will go back over to the Lakers. So fans, just a reminder, the first quarter of this game was over on live stream. Quarters 2 through 4 will be over on live stream 2, which is where we are now. So in case you missed any action, we're splitting the game up here. Down under 40 seconds here in the quarter. Nice interception. Once again, that was Kerman on the play. Passes inside, nice ground ball, and it escapes and goes in. We thought Aretta had it, and then she did, and then it kind of just fell off of her stick and in. Give Wendell the goal, as the quarter comes to an end. And our halftime score is Hingham 8 and Silver Lake 2. Now to finish the story that Mike and I were talking about, Coach Baczynski of the Harborwomen basketball team always talked about his dream team. And his dream team actually was the junior year team of Haley Blassetti, or actually the senior year team of Haley Blassetti if Haley hadn't been hurt with the ACL. Because you would have had Haley Blassetti and Abby Landry as seniors.
Abby Landry was a tall center, right?
Yes,
Okay,
Abby Landry was the tall center.
Okay.
All right, well, the tall forward. You would have had Abby Landry, you would have had Abby Landry and Haley Blassetti as seniors, Maddie McCollum as a junior, and you would have had Grace Bennis and Riley Blassetti as sophomores. If you had those five, plus the supporting cast that was there through the years, there was your state championship team.
Who would have been the best on that team? Haley Blassetti?
Well, here's the thing. Haley has been... I've had this discussion with Mark Blassetti a lot. Which one of the four are the best? Okay? And he and I have a difference of opinion. Pure talent is probably Haley. In a one game, I have to win it all. With the ball in anybody's hand, it's Haley. If I have to make the drive, you witnessed the game that she brought us to the heights as a sophomore when she dribbled past and won the game at the buzzer in the descent along the way the first time along. That one shining moment shot that everyone talks about. It's Haley. On the other hand, tenacity, all-around defensive play, being able to shut players down and make everybody around her better. Riley Blassetti, to me, was just a tremendous end-to-end player. Both sides, you couldn't be a better player. Now, that's not to say that Haley was a bad player.
Who was it? It was Riley, Haley, Perry. Who was the fourth one?
Actually,
Sydney, right?
Sydney started it all.
Okay.
Now, Sydney was the one who started it all. Sydney made everything better. But Sydney started to fall in love with crew. And Sydney actually went to BU into crew. Now, Haley redshirted her freshman year because her ankle still wasn't right. She actually sprained her ankle after she came off of knee surgery. So she's a fifth-year senior at Siena. So she'll be a senior over at Siena this year. Riley will be a sophomore at St. Rose this year, and Perry will be a senior here at Hingham.
Yeah.
And Sydney has graduated. So that's the Blassetti legacy, and we got started on this whole thing simply because of Abby Landry graduating Duke this year. And she was the leading scorers on the Duke women's lacrosse.
So she was obviously a better lacrosse player than basketball player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let's put it this way. I don't know if she got a scholarship to Duke. She would probably know that better than I do. That's a patrimony. But, you know, she was phenomenal. She was great in basketball. She really shined in lacrosse.
She played soccer in the spring?
No, I don't remember her playing soccer. She was a great basketball player. She can take over. She could take over a lacrosse game. You know, where Haley Blassetti could take over a basketball game, Abby Landry could take over a lacrosse game. On the draw as we start the second half, back to lacrosse action here. You're with the junior varsity here on Hingham Athletics live stream 2. Well, we're in the third quarter actually, second half.
Hey, if this isn't gone, you guys leave. Just leave the door on.
Okay.
We'll Josh Ross and we did it.
Okay, great. So Greg Partika and Mike Herring with you on the play-by-play and commentary, because we have a wide open mic. Mike Hennon. Why did I say Herring? Hennon. God, I butcher enough names.
It's all right.
I've
been called a lot worse, Greg, trust me.
I'll tell you a story. Mike, while we're watching the action here. There was a virtual ceremony because I was awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
By the athletic directors in the state, you know, in coordination with the MIAA. And everybody knows I butcher names doing all of this. And if you've ever tried to do this, either public address, for anyone who's ever tried to do public address or play-by-play, it's not as easy as you think.
Right.
All right. And they did a virtual Zoom presentation. The guy who did this butchered my name so terribly, I felt rewarded and vindicated for all the names he did. There's a shot in the score for Hingham as we start the second quarter. Wendell has her hat trick. And give Hingham a 9-2 lead. Time of that goal is 1 minute and 28 seconds. So nice to have an even clock again.
Yeah.
You know, but I digress. It's just what you do. So it's 9-2.
You get an even clock, but not an even roster.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the
You'd
other
rather
thing.
have the even roster.
Well, that's okay.
I mean, you'd rather have a numerical.
Yeah, you'd like to have a numerical roster when you're doing this, but that's okay. I'd rather have names. You know, and I've done public address up here a long time, and some people will say, why don't you do public address? We might as well talk about it while we've got a second here. We're not allowed on public address here for junior varsity and freshman events. That is part of the bylaws we worked out with the team, with the town people to do games. You're not allowed to play music for junior varsity and freshman events. You're only allowed to do it for a varsity contest.
Wow,
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Ball down, shot goes over the top of the net. I believe that was Maggie Keller with the shot. Interesting, they're going to award the ball to Hingham. Unless it was ruled that the Hingham cross was the closest to the ball when it went out of bounds. But a lot of people, you know, especially in the junior varsity and freshman games, want us to do public address. We're not allowed to do it. You know, and it's not that I don't want to do those games.
Yeah.
You know, because normally, Mike, you and I are timing the games up here. We're doing the games, especially football.
Yeah.
We'll do football. What we will do for football when we're working a football game is we will do the anthem and stuff. There's a shot in the score. A beautiful looking goal. Stella Brazis gets into the scoring. And you got to credit the assist to Nora Wendell on that play. Nice passing on that. But the point is, we're not allowed to do a lot of things other than varsity. And you would think, since this facility opened in 2013, homecoming, and, you know, do the math, this is 2021, so, you know, we're coming up on 8 full seasons, or 9 depending on how you count things. We still had a visitor today at the start of the game for the varsity complaining about the noise of the music for the warm-up at 3:45, 3:50 in the afternoon. And it was the varsity contest, and, you know, okay, so I had to explain the rules once again about how it is. And great move in play, nice save.
And so
Nice save made by Aretta.
So
And it's Lakers ball. So you were saying, Mike?
So it's a certain decibel level. You said it was 50 decibels.
It's 59 decibels according to the town.
And you can't even go above that because of the
Yeah.
speaking.
In fact, if you're unfamiliar with the press box here at the high school fans, behind where Mike and I are sitting, pretty much at the 50-yard line, there is a rack of computer servers. You would think they're computer servers. What they really are is a series of amplifiers that are throttled at 59 decibels.
And you wouldn't go over that if you wanted to?
You can't, because they're all locked. Shot and a score. The Harborwomen continue to pile it on. Beautiful, nice move and shot, low ground ball.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
It's Emerald with the score.
So technically,
The good-looking freshman Tatum gets on the board here.
so technically, if you had the key, is there a key for the amplifier?
Well, let's put it this way. I will explain this in a second. Let me just mark this down if I have her on the list here, because she's supposed to be on the list. Let's find the list numerically. Oh, check that. I was looking at the wrong list of the ledger. I had the Silver Lake ledger out. Let me find 14 numerically. And guess what? There is no 14 in the roster list that I have here. So this could be a freshman who came up. My apologies here for not identifying quickly. And there's another score, and Hingham just keeps piling it on. And we go advanced timing at this point. And that's Lizzie is Whitlock, who adds to the scoring fun. So as I was saying, the servers for the public address system are locked and governed. There is actually, the sound levels are locked. They're behind a screwed-in cage. So in order for you to change the gain and increase the volume, you need a few screwdrivers and some special equipment to actually get the cage off to actually adjust the master volumes.
So they did that on purpose.
Yeah, and when the facility was built, they were adjusted. They had sound technicians out here measuring the decibel levels, and everyone in the town signed off as to what the decibels are. All right. We sometimes, even though, besides that, we can lower the volume, because if you've got an iPhone or something of that nature, we can lower the volume, or an Android going into the system to make it softer, but we can't make it any louder.
Right. Okay.
Now, what we always have to warn the captains about is the playlist.
Yeah.
They can play warm-up music for a varsity event, but you have to keep the lyrics clean.
And how long before the game can you keep the lyrics on?
You can probably do 15 minutes, and in football it's longer, obviously, because you have a much longer warm-up. In football always has its different rules. So 30 to 50
there's
minutes.
no set time limit for how many.
No.
You could technically have for a football game an hour warm up if you want.
Yeah, and basically warm-ups in football are set at 90 minutes. So typically I turn the clock on at 90 minutes before a football game, and normally the football team comes out about an hour early, and they'll put their warm-up music on, and we'll play that. Now, during the periods of games, I will play music between the games.
Yeah.
You know, I'll have music at the quarters, I'll have music, everything else. Back to lacrosse here, as we move forward with 3:15 here to play, here in the third. We're in running time as Hingham's out in front 12-2 here. This is the junior varsity contest. Ball's loose. Lakers pick it up. This is Robinson with it. She loses control. Still dirty ball on the ground. Lakers will control this one. Loose ball. Hingham picks it up.
Looks like another coast to coast.
And it's another coast to coast move. Score it. Olivia Daly has her hat trick. It makes the score 13-2. So two nice runs here, one by Daly, and the one that started all this basketball talk earlier was Devon Smith's run from 70 yards earlier in the contest in the second quarter. So
the girls' final was
22-5.
22-5. Okay. Yes, the other day, the boy, he was tweeting it, and so he was next to me in the boys' game. And at the end of the game, he turned it off and he goes, "Oh shoot, I forgot. What was the final score?" And I go, 10-5. He goes, "No, it wasn't."
So what did you do? Turn the scoreboard back on?
No. I shut the scoreboard off. It was, it was probably like, and he goes, "No." He goes, "It wasn't 10-5." He goes, I should know. I was
Texting.
I was tweeting it, and he goes, I wasn't even close. It was 13-9.
Oh, a pretty score. I'll tell you what, I love good passing no matter what the sport is. And that was just pretty to watch. Mercurial with her second goal of the game, but you got to give credit where credit is due. Annie Vogelman, number 20, with the pretty assist. It's 14-2. We're under the final minute here in the third. And you know what? The thing that looks promising, one of the reasons I like doing junior varsity and freshman games are because you get to see where the talent's coming from.
Yeah.
And is this a flash in the pan for what the varsity is doing? Because the varsity has had a resurgence this year with this group with Cole and Berrigan leading the way and Cataldo being strong in goal and all the defense. But you look at this group, and we've got a whistle and a stop. But when you look at this group and you look at what they're doing and you see the youngsters and how talented they are, and now in the junior varsity roster, we don't have their classes. But I would suspect a lot of these are freshmen and sophomores. Here's the future of the program. Shot and a save, nicely made. We're down to the end of the quarter, and we come to the end of 3 quarters here in the junior varsity contest. Their score, Hingham 14 and the Lakers 2.
Yeah, but sometimes I get what you're saying. Sometimes that's not a good problem to you know, the success of the freshman JV teams. You know, and then when they get up to varsity, because you know, a lot of these kids, they just get bigger and stronger, like the sophomores and you know, and freshmen, and now they, you know, where they really didn't play as a freshman or a JV, and now they're bigger and now they're just better, you know? And,
Yeah.
you know, you can't,
No, you're right.
Can't foresee that.
You're right about that, but the question that I always look at is there a huge drop off? You know, is the talent?
Yeah.
Is that you're right, Mike. You can never tell and predict what the talent at a freshman in the freshman program or the JVs or the sophomores, how it's going to relate going upstream into the program. But when you see similar plays being run, when you see similar things, the things that actually drive me crazy in a program is when the freshman teams and JV teams are running different offenses than what the varsity's running. So if you get those players up to the next level, they have to learn a whole new offense.
Right, you're wasting crucial practice time by teaching them stuff they should already know.
Well, yeah, you should be running the same offenses so that it's seamless when you get up to that next level.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you have your challenges in the freshman game at times because the level of talent's so different, because some kids have played travel, some people have only done rec stuff, and you're blending them all together, so you have to sometimes change the dynamics. But when you're at a junior varsity level, you ought to be playing the same offensive sets, the same defensive sets that the varsity's playing, so that there is no differences, so that you should be seamlessly together and everything should be fine. Now, granted, with COVID and the inability of the teams to cross-practice together, that was a major stumbling block this past year. And that continues to be challenging. But that's what you want, that's what you try to do. But I am impressed that you see some movement. Granted, there's a step down the level of play, which you expect it to be. And I'm not talking that the score being 14-2 is, something to say, oh yeah, we're great, it's 14-2, our JV team looks great. You'd have to put this team up against Duxbury and NDA, which are the two markers that I always use when I'm sizing up how well the girls' varsity program is doing.
Well, they beat Duxbury this year.
They beat Duxbury this year, which was probably the most unexpected win that I've seen from the girls' lacrosse program in probably 5 or 6 years.
Really?
I did not. Duxbury generally manhandles Hingham. NDA usually manhandles Hingham.
I saw. Well, I mean, I was here at the NDA game, and that was like they
NDA always has its challenges simply because you're playing an all-star team. Because they're a Catholic private school, they recruit. I won't say they recruit, but you have a bigger population to draw from. It's like you talk about the Super 8 in hockey. What is it? Hingham's the best public school in the Super 8, and we can talk about why there's no Super 8. And you don't get me started with that one, with the new MIAA.
I heard that's not a done deal.
I hope it's not, and I'll give you my opinion in a minute. Lakers win the opening draw here at the 4th and run away. Lakers have some ground to make up just to make this respectable and get out of advanced timing. This is Rebecca White looking to have the offense in her control. She's got the ball back. White looking for Nugent. Nugent has it inside the scoring circle in the arc. She'll take it back out. Seems to have a rather long stick for girls lacrosse, but it's probably regulation. Just maybe it's the way she's holding it. She's holding it kind of unusual. Look, it reminds me of a long stick midi in the boys' game. Pass goes too high, looking for a play inside the crease or near the crease. Picked off by the Harborwomen, and back they come. Ball to midfield, and moving quickly with it is the Harborwomen. This is Bridget Patton leading the rush up. She'll back out of the arc. Her pass inside, point is raised. She was looking for Brazos. But Areta will pounce on it in the crease, and Lakers control. Double team behind the cage. Lakers still control. And they'll start the play up. This is Cardarelli. Her pass nicely played up the line. We have probably a change of goaltenders because Areta is out there. At least the number 18 is out there. And I didn't catch it at first. And we have a whistle.
So the argument with the Super 8 is, you know, the same teams predominantly make it, right? You're talking baseball and hockey, and they have a double elimination, whereas the Division I teams and the girl and no other teams have. So technically they're playing more games, right?
Yeah.
Because they have double elimination, and I suppose that's a valid argument, right?
Well, and to pick up the comments that Mike and I are talking about, next season in September, when we get back to a regular year, the sectional tournaments are gone. In its place, for every sport, you have one tournament of 24 teams for each sport. So Division I has a 24-team tournament, Division II, Division III, etc., etc. What they've talked about in hockey and baseball is eliminating the Super 8 tournament. So what that does is that puts your Super 8 teams into your Division I bracket.
Right.
So what does that do? That eliminates 17 teams from any hope of winning your Division I.
Right.
Because what it's going to come down to, and there's a shot and a great save. I'm going to try to pick up the goaltender number for you, because obviously we've changed goaltenders, or no.
16?
Is it 16, 19? 16? 18? That's the 19. Problem. It's 19.
Yeah, 19.
So basically, I've been calling Areta in goal all game, and that's not right. Well, guess what? We don't have a 19 on our card. So my apologies to whoever is in goal for Silver Lake this afternoon. So the problem with Super 8 baseball and Super 8 hockey being taken out for the next 2 years or 3 years, whatever the MIAA wanted to say, is that you're basically eliminating the Division I tournaments.
Right.
Because those other 17 teams have no choice, no chance.
No chance of winning it.
And you're taking out 8 teams that could be in the bracket. Great interception. Here come the Harborwomen.
That's right. You're taking out 8 teams that are going to not get a postseason bid.
Right.
But one thing about hockey and baseball is, okay, if that's the case, why don't you keep the Super 8, but don't have double elimination, have single elimination?
Well, no, I still like the Super 8 for the Super 8. Keep the Super 8 the way it is. Just eliminate, have a Super 8 1A, which is always what it's been, and leave Division I is Division I and make it your 2014 tournament.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that people should realize, and we're approaching 5:10 to play here in the contest, Hingham's out in front 14-2 here. We've been in advanced timing, aka running time, for most of the second half. We're getting ready for a scoring opportunity from the circle. And this is Vogelman. And shot and a score. So give Annie the goal here from the scoring arc, and the score is now 15-2. That's her first goal of the contest. But as we go back to talk about this, the old way of qualifying for a sectional tournament was a 500 record. And if you had a 20-game season, you had to win 10 games. That's not the rule anymore. You have to be one of the best 24 teams in your division in the state.
Right.
So no more 10 wins and you're in kind of deal. It's power rankings, and the power rankings are done based on max prep. And it's going to be based on some power ranking based on strength of schedule and who you play and who you don't play and all this other stuff. So winning your conference doesn't matter much anymore because it's not an automatic bid anymore.
What's the special rule? Where you get teams that are like for instance
The Sullivan rule. The Sullivan rule's gone.
Oh, that's gone.
It has to be gone because it can't factor into the max prep rules anymore. And what nobody really understands right now at this point is what's the formula that Max Prep's using for their power rankings.
Right. So you're saying this? So every sport's going to have 24 teams.
24 teams across the state. That's it.
Football too.
Football too. That's my understanding.
24. You're going to go from 24 to 12 to 6. How are they going to do that?
Well, is it 24, 25? However they work it. I forget the exact number. I thought it was 24. I heard 25.
24. 12, 6, 3. That doesn't come out right.
Well, unless the first 4 get a bye, you
or
do something crazy
right.
that. But the magic is the Max Prep power ranking.
But see, one thing like Super 8, like in hockey, and one thing about hockey and baseball is if you have a stud pitcher, you can beat any team in the state on one day for one game. And same with a goalie. You have a stud goalie.
Shot and a great save made by the Lakers. And Hingham will get the rebound and reset. You have a player down, and it's going to be against the Lakers. We'll have a scoring arc. We'll have an opportunity from the arc. Fogelman will take it. Annie looking for a second goal of the contest. We're at 2:30 and counting here in regulation. Annie shoots, great save made. She shot it right at the goaltender. And I think she yelled out a war whoop as she was going in. Or maybe that was the defenders. Couldn't quite tell from up here. But the noise was good. The effect was different. We're approaching 2 minutes here to play in regulation. It's been all Hingham. For those of you joining us on live stream too, we'll want to watch the replay of this later. It's Hingham Athletics live stream 2. The first quarter will be over on live stream. Quarters 2 through 4 will be here on Hingham Athletics live stream 2 as we count down.
I'm glad you said something because
Carterary with it. Another butchered name for me. We'll just say Bridget had it. I don't butcher first names that often. She hands off to Caitlin Dilly. We'll have a whistle. We approach 1 minute to play here in regulation.
all right, be good. See you later.
So Dilly will have the ball on the arc. Angle's a little difficult, but she has the wide opening to the goal. See what she does with 43 to play. She decides to pass it instead. Pass was a little off. Had the right idea with the cutter coming in from the far left post. It was available, but with the violation, they'll go to Hingham, and they'll just bring it up slowly, and hopefully this will be the last offensive rush of the game. Down to 20 to play. Chase Boyle's with it. Chase made her presence known in the first half. Pass goes a little too far. But we're down to 6 seconds, and this should close it out. Loose ball, but it's picked up and cradled, and that's our final. So Hingham wins in convincing fashion, 15-2. And they did a nice job here this afternoon against the Lakers. And that's basically our ball game. So a reminder on the varsity side, the varsity won their match in round 3 action of the Patriot Cup.
And that's the final
22
Patriot.
to 5. So they will go to the semifinals versus Duxbury at Duxbury on Thursday. First draw is 4 p.m. We will not be bringing you that game. Our next broadcast here on Hingham Athletics will be this Friday, time to be announced, when the Harborwomen play their semifinal game in the Patriot Cup Boys Lacrosse Tournament. And that's where we stand. So for our entire cruise, this is Greg Patriot reminding you our final score of 15 to 2 Hingham. This has been a presentation of Hingham Athletics on YouTube. Goodbye, everybody.
Shut that off before you score the thing in a number. I would have botched it.